Good day everyone, we are Group 3 and I am Cyril Anat Mamba and we will be talking about the historical antecedents around the world. India is assigned to us to answer the following questions. First question, what are the contributions of Indian culture, civilization country to modern science and everyday living? Next is what are the social, cultural, historical and environmental factors that led to these contributions? Lastly is which bits and pieces of foreign scientific cultures have reached the Philippines, how and why? India is a country in South Asia. It is the seventh largest country by area and it's the second most popular country and the most populous democracy in the world. It's one of the oldest civilizations in the world. The Indian civilization has a strong tradition of science and technology. Ancient India was a land of sages and seers, as well as a land of scholars and scientists. Research has shown that from making the best steel in the world to teaching the world to count, India was actively contributing to the field of science and technology centuries long before modern laboratories were set up. Many theories and techniques discovered by the ancient Indians have created and strengthened the fundamentals of modern science and technology. While some of the groundbreaking contributions have been acknowledged, some are still unknown to most. What are the contributions of Indian culture, civilization country to modern science and everyday living? Hindus were precursors to mathematics. They elaborated the decimal system that we use until today and created next to the Mayas the number zero. The approximate relation between the circumference and the diameter of the circle, or pi, was also studied and developed by them. First is the idea of zero. Little needs to be written about the mathematical digit zero, one of the most important inventions of all time. Mathematician Aryabhata was the first person to create a symbol for zero, and it was through his efforts that mathematical operations like addition and subtraction started using the digit zero. The concept of zero and its integration into the place value system also enabled one to write numbers no matter how large by using only 10 symbols. And now, zero is the integer denoted zero that, when used as a counting number, means that no objects are present. It is the only integer and in fact the only real number that is neither negative nor positive. A number which is not zero is said to be non-zero. A root of a function is also sometimes known as a zero of.
Hi, I'm Jaime Alexis Pino, and I will continue discussing the contributions of Indians in modern science and everyday living. The decimal system. India gave the ingenious method of expressing all numbers by the means of 10 symbols. The decimal system. In this system, each symbol received a value of position as well as an absolute value. Due to the simplicity of decimal notation, which facilitated calculation, this system made the uses of arithmetic and practical inventions much faster and easier. Numerical notations. Indians, as early as 500 BCE, had devised a system of different symbols for every number from 1 to 9. This notation system was adopted by the Arabs who called it the Hindu numerals. Centuries later, this notation system was adopted by the Western world who called them the Arabic numerals as it reached them through the Arab traders. Fibonacci numbers. The Fibonacci numbers and their sequence first appear in the Indian mathematics as Matramero, mentioned by Pingala in the connection with the Sanskrit tradition of prosody. Later on, the methods for the formation of these numbers were given by the mathematicians Viranka, Gopala, and Hemakandra, much before the Italian mathematician Fibonacci introduced the fascinating sequence to Western European mathematics.
Hello everyone, my name is Felix Merico Ibarola and I will continue discussing the contributions of Indians in modern science and everyday living. A theory of atom. One of the most notable scientists of the ancient India was Kanad, who is said to have devised the atomic theory centuries before John Dalton was born. The Indian sage who gave the atomic theory was Akarya Kanad. Kanad was walking with food in his hand, breaking it into small pieces when he realized that he was unable to divide the food into any further parts. From this moment, he conceptualized the idea of a particle that could not be divided into any further. Ayurveda. Long before the birth of Hippocrates, Charaka authored a foundational text, Charaka Samhita, on the ancient science of Ayurveda. Referred to as the father of Indian medicine, Charaka was the first physician to present the concept of digestion, metabolism, and immunity in his book. Ayurveda is still practiced in India up to this day. Modern Indian society recognizes Ayurveda as a legitimate medical system, with the importance of having a strong immune system during these tough times, and also with the government of India. They promote the importance of Ayurveda. Wood steel. It is a pioneering steel alloy matrix developed in India. It is a crucible steel characterized by a pattern of bands that was known in the ancient world by many different names such as oko, Hindwani, and cerric iron. The process of making it involved preparation of porous iron, hammering it while hot to release slag, breaking it up and sealing it wood chips in a clay container and heating it until pieces of iron absorb carbon from the wood and melt it. But based on my research, wood steel is no longer produced by the early 19th century. Plastic surgery. It is not new to our ears, the word surgery. It is written in 6th century BC. Sushruta Samhita is considered to be one of the most comprehensive textbooks on ancient surgery. The text mentions various illnesses, plants, preparations, and cures along with complex techniques of plastic surgery. The Sushruta Samhita's most well-known contribution to the plastic surgery is reconstruction of the nose, also known as rhinoplasty.
I'm Janadave Tandok, and I will continue discussing the contribution of Indians in modern science and everyday living. Language. Sanskrit is one of the official languages of India, and it's now attracting the modern world. Sanskrit is the mother of all languages. It was the root of Indo or European languages. Ramayana and Mahabharata were also written in Sanskrit. Influence of Sanskrit language in the world. List of English words derived from Sanskrit. There are approximately 400 words used from Sanskrit language. Some of them are Gau, meaning cow, Matir, meaning mother, Jan, meaning Jin, Majam, meaning medium, Kaal, meaning calendar, Pitir, meaning father. Next is festivals. Holi is an ancient Hindu religious festival which has become popular with non-Hindus in many parts of southern Asia, as well as people of other communities outside Asia. Holi is celebrated as a social event in parts of the United States. For example, at Sri Sri Radha Krishna Temple in Spanish Fork, Utah, New York City, Holi High in Manhattan, New York, and Festival of Colors Holi, New York City, in Brooklyn. The Festival of Holi in India signifies the arrival of the spring, the end of winter, forget and forgiveness, and helps in building broken relationships. Holi starts at the evening of Purnima, full moon day in Vikram, Samvat, that is Hindu calendar month of Falguna. The festival is celebrated in two ways: Holika Dahan or Choti Holi and Duliheti, Dulandi or Pagwa. Yoga. The beginnings of yoga were developed by the Indus-Sarasvati civilization in northern India over 5,000 years ago. Yoga was slowly refined and developed by the Brahmins and Rishis, mystic seers. Yoga is a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices or discipline which originated in ancient India. Influence of yoga. The idea of International Day of Yoga was first proposed by the Prime Minister of India, Sir Narendra Modi, during his speech at the Unga. On September 27, 2014, International Day of Yoga, or unofficially referred to as Yoga Day, is celebrated annually on June 21 since its inception in 2015. An International Day for Yoga was declared by the United Nations General Assembly on December 11, 2014, anonymously. Almost 100 countries participated and practiced yoga on 21st June 2016.
Good day. I'm Ismael B. Esposo. I will be answering question number 2 and question number 3. For question number 2, the question is, what are the social, cultural, historical, and environmental factors that led to these contributions? With more than a billion inhabitants, India has a remarkable diversity of languages, geographical areas, religious practices, and social classes. Indians in general have a strong feeling of pride in the uniqueness and variety of their culture. The cultures, cuisines, and customs of other nations are all unique. The history of Indian food is as old as Indian civilization itself, and it has rich legacy. Indian cuisine has roots in social custom, religious, and the conquest of other lands that introduced their culinary customs. All have contributed to this rich and varied cuisine, from the Mughals to the Brits. Due to the diversity of the Indian cuisine, regional and religious differences in culinary customs predominate. Indians see their food as sacred and pure as a result of the traditions that have been passed down through the years. For question number 3, which bits and pieces of foreign scientific cultures have reached the Philippines? How and why? Somehow, some scientific cultures have reached the Philippines, like plastic surgery and the theory of the atom. Despite of the certain improvements, the development and interest in science in Philippines is among the lowest in the region. While there may be practical reasons for it, it seems that the conditions for a culture of science do not yet exist. As a third world country, developing nations tend to ignore us, for we don't have any technological advancements. Hence, there are no influences of scientific cultures in our country.